Hello and welcome to the 49ers First and 10 podcast presented by Cisco. 10 minutes of the most up-to-date 49ers news first thing in the morning. I'm your host, Brianna McDonald, and joining me is 49ers team reporter Lindsay Polares and special guest Matt Maiocco from NBC Sports Bay Area. Matt, thanks for joining us today.
It is my pleasure. I'm just thrilled that you invited me back, that I didn't mess it up so much last time that you said, never again will we have that guy on.
Matt, it's Cowboys week. Of course you're on the show.
Matt, we always love having you on as a guest on First and 10. But, the 49ers are also getting back to work today with their first practice following a tough loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. The team now looks ahead to their upcoming contest against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. There's a lot to prepare for in this one. Lindsay, as you look closely at this matchup with Brandon Ayuk out for the season and both Juwan Jennings and Deebo Samuel recovering from some health setbacks, how do you see the 49ers adapting their offensive strategy against a tough Cowboys defense this Sunday?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, obviously, a horrible loss of Brandon Ayuk, and now thinking about the guys that the 49ers have to utilize, I think it's going to be a developing story on the health of especially Juwan Jennings if he is able to return at any point during the week for practice. He's dealing with a hip injury. Also, Deebo Samuel was hospitalized earlier in the week because of fluid in his lungs. He's dealing with pneumonia. So I think, it is kind of a health battle for the 49ers. Wide receiver Chris Conley dealing with an ankle sprain, and obviously George Kittle, also a big threat in the passing game. He's dealing with a foot sprain. Those two guys are day to day. So the 49ers are going to have to lean on rookie wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. He just made his NFL debut against the Kansas City Chiefs. You also have fellow rookie Jacob Cowing and second-year wide receiver Ronnie Bell. Those are the guys that they're going to have to lean on right now. Obviously, hopefully getting some positive injury news later today. Wednesday is when the 49ers open up their practice week, but that won't happen for a few more hours.
Yeah, the 49ers are turning the page from week 7. They're taking learning points from that game, applying them to what they have next. Matt, given Brock Purdy's struggles against the Chiefs, how critical is it for him to regain his confidence against a familiar opponent like the Cowboys?
Yeah, I think that they just need to win a game. And regardless of how they do it, it's something that, there's a huge difference when you think about just the swing of what if the 49ers win this game as opposed to what if they lose. But yeah, Brock Purdy has been a rock for the 49ers. And I think caught everybody just kind of by surprise is that he has already had probably more off games than he had all of last season. So whenever he has a game where he struggles a little, or in the case of the game against the Chiefs, a lot, it's so unique. It's not what everybody's come to expect. So I think it's important for him. It's important for the offense. It's important for the team to go out there and put together a good performance and maybe establish a little bit of momentum heading into the bye week.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line for this game as San Francisco looks to get back to 500. It seems like we say it ahead of every game, but this is a high-stakes matchup. As you look at this defense, they've managed to force 13 turnovers this season. This week, they'll be up against a Cowboys offense that has struggled with giveaways. Lindsay, how important is a dominant defensive showing this week? And what adjustments do you expect the 49ers defense making for this matchup?
Yeah, I think takeaways are a huge momentum swinger in any game. And I think that's something that the 49ers preach all the time, right? And you've seen it, how it's swung the momentum of a game. If you go and look back, just not too far back, week 6 versus the Seattle Seahawks, defense feeds the offense in many cases. And that turnover, that interception by Renardo Green in the fourth quarter just re-energized the entire team. So you want those moments throughout the game. And obviously the defensive effort has been good. I think there was plenty of plays against Kansas City that certainly kept the 49ers in the game. So they just need a consistent effort, continued support from the defense, especially if the offense gets off to a slow start or, no matter what happens on the offense, a strong defensive performance is always going to set you up for success in any game.
Definitely. And Matt, you just said it earlier. We all know that the 49ers are focused on winning games, especially against an NFC opponent, especially against a rival Cowboys team. As you look at the season so far, the 49ers have lost 4 games by a total of just 22 points. Matt, what factors do you believe have contributed to those narrow losses, and how can they turn those close games into now victories?
Yeah, I mean I think that's a great point you make. Is that they have, with the exception of the game against Kansas City where they score a late touchdown and make it a 10-point game. 49ers, the margin of error has been significantly reduced this year. So you look at it and you go, well, why have they lost these close games? I think it's pretty elementary. The offense is playing well, except for when they get into the red zone. So they're settling too many times for 3 points instead of 7. The defense has been middle of the pack, and that's so different than what we've seen from the 49ers in the past, where the defense has kind of led the way. And so the defense has had its issues getting off the field on third downs. And then the big one is special teams. There just seems like every game there's a not so minor mess up on special teams that either swings momentum, leads to easy points, or whatever the case may be. So it's really not just one thing. It is every part of the 49ers are responsible for this in some way, whether it's offense, not cashing in, defense, not getting off the field and doing its job and not creating the number of takeaways maybe that they have in the past. And then special teams in just every phase of special teams. It hasn't just been one area. It's been punt coverage. It's been kick coverage. It's been, kick protect. It's really been all over the map where the 49ers have had their mistakes on special teams that have cost this team some wins.
Yeah, well, Matt, tell us about our opponent this Sunday. What have the Cowboys looked like so far this season, and what should we expect from Dallas on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is one of these teams that's always had a lot of talent, but never really put it together. I mean, the way I kind of look at this game is the Cowboys are to the 49ers what the 49ers are to the Chiefs, in the sense that, Kansas City has basically owned that head-to-head competition with the 49ers over the last few years. And the 49ers have done the same thing with the Cowboys as far as postseason success, regular season success. So it's a talented team. The thing that gives the Cowboys a slight edge is that they're coming off the bye week, just as Kansas City was coming off the bye week last week. But the issue with, you'd mentioned it earlier, the Cowboys, there are a lot of turnovers, that they've created, or they've given away the ball a lot. They're a -6 in the takeaway giveaway category, and turnovers are very difficult to predict. But the Cowboys just don't seem to be a real sharp team, heading into this game. But you could say the same thing about the 49ers. They're I think both teams are kind of on that spectrum of they've both underachieved at this point. For the Cowboys, 6 games into the season. For the 49ers, 7 games into the season.
Well, Lindsay, paint the picture for us. If the 49ers can secure a win against the Cowboys this Sunday, how do you think that could change the momentum for the remainder of the season, especially with the bye week coming up?
Yeah, I think it's what we've been talking about throughout this podcast. A win will do amazing things for the confidence of this team. And I know that this feels like unfamiliar territory, but if the 49ers can get a win on Sunday, that would put them on put them at 4-4 on the season. And that's exactly the record they had in 2022. And they did not lose a game after the bye week until the NFC Championship game, obviously due to a very big injury to Brock Purdy. So this team, this organization is capable of going on a run. I think a win against an NFC rival on Sunday Night Football could be the fix for just a really good momentum boost, like you mentioned.
Amazing. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Faithful, that will do it for today. Subscribe to First and 10 presented by Cisco for more 49ers updates, and turn on the notifications for any breaking news, Move the Teams episodes. Thanks for tuning in.